Strolling down Maple Avenue, I spotted something strange, a swarm of foxes parading in perfect sync. I called Rachel, thinking she must see this too. As the foxes reached the corner, pedestrians froze, unsure whether to follow or flee. Even Officer Mills seemed wary, stepping back a touch. But it's what happened next that left everyone breathless, questioning what they were witnessing. But before we start, smash the like button, subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming stories. Without even thinking twice, I found myself trailing behind the parade of foxes, trying to keep a safe distance. I was careful not to startle them. It wasn't every day you saw something so bizarre. "Hey, what's going on?" Someone called from across the street, but I was too focused to respond. I just hoped my curiosity wouldn't get me into trouble. With each step, I felt like I was part of a strange and wild adventure. Just as I decided this was too unusual not to share, Rachel popped up beside me. She looked as startled as I felt, but eager to join the chase. "This is nuts, Alex. What do you think they're up to?" she asked, clearly excited. We exchanged theories, some silly, others serious, feeding off the mystery. With our eyes fixed on the foxes, we shared a silent agreement to uncover their secret. As we continued, more folks gathered, exchanging puzzled glances. People whispered among themselves, unsure of what they were seeing. Cameras clicked and smartphones filmed, capturing every surreal moment. It seemed like the whole town was suddenly alive with curiosity. "Do you see that?" someone asked nearby. "What's going on?" murmured another. It was like something out of a movie, and nobody wanted to miss a second of it. Officer Mills, who always seemed calm and composed, looked intrigued yet perplexed. "I've never seen anything like this. Why would foxes behave like this?" he wondered aloud, reaching for his radio. He called in for backup. The foxes kept advancing, undisturbed by the growing human presence, and Officer Mills gave us a nod, inviting us to keep our distance but continue watching closely. Rachel and I tried to lighten the mood with nervous laughter. "Maybe they're rehearsing for a talent show," she joked. It was a shaky attempt, and we both knew it. Curiosity gnawed at us, urging us to push forward despite the uncertainty. "Who knew foxes could be so mysterious?" I replied, trying to mask the growing sense of urgency we both felt. Without warning, the foxes made a sharp turn onto Walnut Street, leading us into a quieter part of town. The chatter faded away as the streets grew less populated. Buildings were spaced out more, creating an eerie silence that heightened the tension. "Should we keep going?" Rachel asked, a little apprehensive. "We've come this far. Might as well see it through," I answered. We continued to follow, determined to unravel their secret. The sound of pebbles crunching under our feet echoed as we walked along the broken sidewalks, trailing the relentless march of the skulk. The quiet was unsettling, and every noise seemed amplified. "This place gives me the creeps," Rachel said, eyeing the dilapidated surroundings. Leading the pack, the vixen cut a striking figure, her amber eyes scanning the surroundings with a grace that was almost mesmerizing. Every so often she would pause, then dart a sharp glance around, almost as if checking for threats. It was clear this wasn't a random wander. Someone nearby whispered, "That one's different," almost like it's leading them. Rachel nodded in agreement. The vibe was strange, and it held us in its grasp. Every time the foxes paused, I felt a spike of adrenaline, worried that they might sense our presence. "Do you think they know we're here?" Rachel whispered, her voice tinged with both excitement and concern. We held our breath during those moments, feeling like we were on the brink of discovery. Rachel couldn't stop nudging me as we followed the foxes. "Is this for real? This is so bizarre," she whispered, her voice a mix of excitement and disbelief. I nodded, still trying to process what was happening. We exchanged quick glances and shrugged. What else could we do? We reached the park, and all of a sudden the foxes scattered in different directions. It was like they had a planned meeting spot and then decided to confuse their followers. Rachel and I just stood there, frozen on the spot, unsure whether to laugh or start worrying. All around us, people stopped in their tracks, eyes wide, unsure what to make of this new turn of events. It certainly wasn't what anyone had expected. Vixen, the leader, made her way to the fountain, signaling the rest to follow suit. It seemed the foxes needed a quick pit stop to drink and maybe catch their breath. "Guess even foxes can't walk without a break," Rachel chuckled, easing the tension in the air a little. We watched them lap up water, their synchronized movements puzzling us further. The entire park seemed transfixed by this unforeseen spectacle, each of us lost in thought. Rachel elbowed me gently, pointing toward the children's area. A few foxes had wandered there, noses twitching curiously. It wasn't long before onlookers grew uneasy, especially the parents. "Not exactly what you'd expect at a park, huh?" I muttered, trying to lightheartedly break the tension. The kids seemed torn between curiosity and caution, watching the fluffy intruders inspect their play area. The sight stirred a mix of amusement and worry in the crowd. Parents quickly started calling their little ones closer, their eyes betraying the anxiety they felt. "Stay close, sweetheart," one concerned voice advised. The foxes seemed oblivious, but their presence caused more than a ripple of unease among onlookers. Rachel and I exchanged glances, understanding the growing nervousness. The foxes continued their exploration, moving with a stealthy grace that seemed out of place for a town park. The atmosphere had shifted, leaving everyone on edge. Nearly as quickly as they had dispersed, the foxes gathered back together, slipping into their regimented line once more. "Okay, that's a little too organized for comfort," Rachel noted, her eyebrows raised. We watched, captivated by their precision. As the sun began setting, the foxes started to blend into the growing shadows. Their vibrant fur dulled by the twilight, they drifted almost like ghosts through the park. "This is getting weird," Rachel said under her breath, and I couldn't help but agree. We followed them as they slipped beyond the playground and meandered into darker stretches. The streetlights flickered on, casting strange, flickering patterns over the advancing fox skulk. It was like a scene from some surreal movie, the lights barely cutting through the encroaching dusk. Rachel and I stuck close together, wondering what was coming next. That's when Caroline, who ran the little shop nearby, approached us. "What's happening?" she asked, her curiosity mirroring our own. Relative calm returned for a moment as she offered us some directions, sensing the foxes might be headed somewhere specific. "They do this often?" Rachel probed, but Caroline just shook her head, her expression somewhere between intrigue and concern. Her familiarity with the area proved useful, and we decided to follow her advice. Taking Caroline's lead, we ventured into areas less familiar to us but known to her. "This is the old part of town," she said, gesturing at the empty streets and aging architecture. Whatever the foxes were up to, we wanted answers. Caroline seemed to hold a key to the mystery, and we followed closely behind. As our peculiar trek continued, the foxes veered into a narrow alleyway, their silent march drawing us further in. "This alley looks ancient," Rachel said softly, taking in the worn bricks and dim lighting. I nodded, sharing her wonder and unease. We were in for something, though what that was remained just beyond our understanding. In the shadowy alley, the foxes suddenly paused, ears twitching alertly to sounds only they could hear. Their synchronized manner was uncanny, like they were waiting for a sign. "What are they hearing?" Rachel asked, her voice barely a whisper. We stayed still, caught up in their moment of tension. It felt as though the whole world held its breath with them, waiting for the next move. As we scanned the dimly lit alley, we tried to catch a glimpse of where the foxes might be headed. "Any ideas, Alex?" Rachel wondered, her eyes searching for answers. I shrugged, knowing just as little as she did. "Maybe they belonged to someone nearby," I suggested, though it was only a guess. All we knew was our curiosity pushed us onward, eager to uncover their destination. The alley took on an unexpected twist as the scent of chlorine began to fill the air, mixing oddly with the chill of the evening. "Do you smell that?" Rachel asked, wrinkling her nose. "Yeah, it's like a swimming pool exploded," I joked, trying to lighten the mood. Despite our shaky humor, the strange chemical aroma added a layer of suspense, leaving us pondering what we might find. Suddenly aware of the foxes taking off again, I quickly motioned for Rachel and Caroline to keep up. "They're on the move," I called out quietly. Each step felt like a piece of a larger, puzzling picture that we were inching closer to understanding. Officer Mills remained ever present in our thoughts, staying in touch with his team as promised. "Backup's coming," he reassured, radio crackling gently. His words steadied us a bit, knowing we weren't alone. Without warning, Vixen led the foxes in a sharp right turn into a nearby parking lot, catching us by surprise. Rachel and Caroline lagged for a moment before catching up. "Quick moves, huh?" Caroline panted slightly. The sudden change in direction intensified our focus, driving us to stay close. Whatever their destination, the foxes were leading us, and we followed without hesitation. From behind a trash bin, a scraggly cat darted into view, causing a brief ruckus among the foxes and us. I nearly tripped stepping back. "Didn't see that coming," Rachel giggled, the tension hilariously broken by the cat's surprise appearance. The foxes paused their march momentarily, as if considering the unexpected visitor, adding a humorous detour to their otherwise serious mission. Rachel's stifled laugh surprised me, easing the knot of tension in my stomach. We exchanged grins. For a brief moment, the situation felt less ominous. As we approached the parking lot's far end, it dawned on me that we were near an old diner, its sign half lit and flickering. "This place is ancient," Rachel noted. The foxes paused briefly, seeming to assess their route. Caroline piped up, "Time hasn't been kind here." The foxes paused around a parked car, their cries forming an odd sort of music. "Are they singing?" Rachel wondered aloud, sharing a disbelieving look with me. We listened, entranced by the peculiar harmony of their chatters and yips echoing across the street. It felt surreal, almost like we were at a concert performed by nature's band. More passers-by gathered around, drawn in by the unusual symphony, their confusion and curiosity matching our own. Turning the corner, we stumbled into an unexpected quiet. Rachel whispered, "Why's it gone quiet?" The thick tension and eerie silence made us freeze. Further down, flickering lights from abandoned buildings drew us in. "Spooky, right?" I joked, but Rachel was captivated by the mysterious glow. Suddenly, Judith, the local journalist, appeared, snapping photos. "What a scoop," she said, joining us with excitement. "Too good to pass up," Judith grinned. And we speculated wildly as our adventure grew more thrilling. We became a strange, determined group, following the foxes like detectives in a mystery story. The town grew eerily silent. "It's like everyone disappeared," Rachel noted, the strangeness thickening. Judith shared wild rumors about the fox's strange behavior, fueling our curiosity even more. Glowing eyes occasionally watched from the shadows, intensifying the eerie atmosphere. An old woman joked about treasure, making us laugh briefly before focusing back on the foxes. A lightness settled over us, laughter easing the tension as we followed the trail. Then we realized the foxes were heading for the old factory, the town's most haunted place. Rachel whispered about old stories of strange noises there, and the mystery deepened. Her words gave me a chill, reminding us of the local tales about the abandoned site. We exchanged uneasy glances, sensing something bigger was unfolding. The night grew colder as we neared the looming structure, instincts warning us this was no ordinary fox chase. Rachel stayed close, nervous but curious. Officer Mills signaled for caution. "Let's keep our eyes peeled," he said, steadying us as the tension built. Judith adjusted her camera excitedly, determined to capture the moment. At the entrance, Vixen halted, the foxes lining up behind her with eerie precision. "They really know what they're doing," Rachel marveled. We knew we had to follow. Standing before the factory, we hesitated, but curiosity won. With a nod, we crossed the threshold into the unknown, pulled by the mystery ahead. Inside, the factory whispered of its past, shadows shifting around us. "This place is creepy," Rachel said as we moved carefully through the eerie halls. We wandered through dim corridors lined with abandoned machinery, feeling the weight of the factory's forgotten history. Judith snapped photos of every eerie detail, determined to document everything. "Creepy, but kinda cool, right?" Rachel said, trying to lighten the mood as we continued to uncover the secrets hidden within. In our haste, we stumbled over scattered tools, the clangs echoing through the emptiness. "Keep it down," Officer Mills warned as we moved more carefully through the eerie space. Caroline's sudden gasp froze us. She pointed to a strange glow dancing across the walls. Intrigued despite our fear, we pressed on toward the mysterious light. Officer Mills tried his radio but got only static, leaving us feeling isolated. Still, our determination grew, fueled by curiosity. Inside the factory, dusty, outdated machines stood like ghostly relics. "Looks like a museum," Rachel whispered, the abandoned industry hauntingly beautiful. We navigated carefully through the relics, the thick dust and silence amplifying the mystery around us. Rachel voiced what we all wondered. What are they hiding here? Our curiosity only deepened, pulling us further inside. Suddenly, the foxes reappeared, weaving between us and leading the way deeper. Judith captured their movements, amazed at their sense of purpose. Suspense thickened as each step brought us closer to uncovering the factory's secret. "Do you feel that?" Rachel asked, excitement mixing with nerves. We arrived at a doorway glowing with an eerie light. Vixen, the lead fox, stared at us knowingly, heightening the mystery. Frozen, we stared into the softly glowing room, feeling like we had stepped into something bigger than ourselves, caught between wonder and fear. We realized the foxes were moving with strange, organized precision. Officer Mills led us cautiously into the glowing room, charged with mystery. Our hearts raced as we stepped inside, sensing something extraordinary. The foxes were operating old machines, bringing them to life. We were stunned to see the machines producing counterfeit money. Officer Mills quickly called for backup, determined to shut it down. As we prepared for action, Vixen quietly disappeared, her mission complete. Thank you for watching. If you like this story, don't forget to hit the like button, subscription, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming stories.